one of the biggest things that we found in learning, but then I also happen to, a big part of our portion of our business is placing talent, like L&D talent, instructional designers, things like that for people. And one of our biggest barriers in that, the recruitment side, is finding time to talk to people. It's like the whole, like, everybody always scratches their head, like, why do bank hours line up? And actually these days, they're like, it's 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's like, well, who is this serving? Like, everybody's working during that time. When are they coming into the bank? And so the same kind of thing happens is when people are looking for jobs, they're at their job 9 to 5, and that's when the recruiters are at their job 9 to 5. And so they actually created an agent that just sent a text message to the people and said, listen, we have this job that we want you to apply for. Click a button. When you click that button, it will start the interview process. At any point, you can pause it and come back to it. But that component of capturing it whenever it worked for them, you don't have to do okay, now I'm ready, or, check my calendar. And as you mentioned with SMEs, gosh, I don't know, they'll think of excuses to get out of that
Yeah.
meeting if they don't already have one. So I love that idea of, kind of have an agent ready, queued up for this. You start any training program to say, hey, whenever you get, 15 minutes, talk to this person, they'll figure it out. So that's really cool. One of the things that I've been kind of curious about as we're talking through this, and I have some ideas in my mind, but when you have the expert, why share my ideas? How does this all associate back to a lot of what you've talked about, which is game-based learning, simulations, things like that? Like, where there's obviously a heavy overlap, but like, help me draw that connection and how people are leveraging that to
Yeah.
see even better results.
Yeah. So um, the other day I was talking to somebody. You know how you always say, "Well, I'm no expert," and we were talking about learning and development. I'm like, "I'm no expert." He started laughing. He goes, "Well, then who is? If you're
Yeah.
not, but 9 times out of 10, I'm not whatever I'm talking about. I'm not, but this is that lane. But and the other thing uh, just come back to AI. So one of the things I did in this book, like every time you write a book, like first book I wrote it, people were like, this is a great book, but there's not enough case studies. So second book, I put case studies in it. It's a great book, lots of case studies, but not enough how to. So I put how to in. And then the next book is like a great how to and case studies, but there's not enough, whatever. So one of the things I did in this book is I put some prompts in there for
Oh,
prompting.
cool.
So if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna want to do an escape room, like how would you prompt that? If you want to do an AI coach, there's even a chapter on doing an AI chatbot as we talked about. So a lot of people think those aren't accessible, but they really are accessible.
Yeah.
And then the overlap of activity-based learning and gamification is gamification is about doing something, definitely. The problem that this overcomes is that there was too much preamble, I think, in a lot of cases. And games are really great for critical thinking because you got to, maybe think ahead what an opponent might do or what the environment's all about. Games are great for manipulating ideas and concepts, classifying ideas and concepts. Action first learning is around concepts. Games are great for bringing people together. And a lot of times, action first learning allows people to come together to work together. A lot of social learning, going back to
Yeah. No,
Bandor's
absolutely.
social learning theory. Yeah. So there's a lot of there's a lot of those overlaps. And action first learning uses a lot of games like card games, board games, video games, video game concepts like branching scenarios, um, escape rooms, all those kinds of thoughts and activities. And the problem is a lot of people, especially when you can get content with AI from like all over the world, then it's not a content game anymore, right? It's a
Yeah.
performance game. It's a behavior game, right? It's not content game anymore. So do you get people to exhibit behaviors? And I think it's Aristotle or somebody was once quoted, and I think misquoted, as saying, I spent an hour playing a game with someone, which is better than having a lifetime of conversations with them to understand who they really are, right? And
Mm.
you can understand a lot from a person how they play a game. Like, do they suddenly become, flip the Monopoly board, or do they, you know, sweep the Stratego board, or whatever they happen to do.